Hey everybody, welcome back for more Lords of Shadow after a long hiatus. What's up, RSCNyx?
Chapter 2 is garbage. That's the reason for our hiatus.
Exactly, we needed a breather after 9 levels of BS, and, you know, what better thing to come back to than a 2-stage chapter?
I can't get over that.
One of which is nothing more than a boss fight.
Like, you tell me that after that horrible grind, and I just wonder what went through the developers' minds.
Honestly, man, I wish I could say, but I have no clue. I mean, there's no other chapter in the game that is even... I think we may have one that's half as long as that, but that's it. And it makes no sense. But, you know, anyway, we moved on. We basically accomplished what Chapter 2 was designed to. We met this mute lady, killed mute lady, and then just for the hell of it, because we already killed her, why not kill her friend and take his weapon?
I like how he's questioning if he murdered her. Dude, you've seen it. You were there.
Gabriel, he, you know, even Patrick Stewart, you know, picked on the fact that, okay, fine, he killed her, he may as well grab the thing's gauntlet. I mean, why not? Anyway, we moved on. We're headed towards the quote-unquote Sanctum of the Dark Lord of the Lycans.
That's a really long title.
It is, and of course the 3 towers. Plus we got a new weapon here, the Dark Gauntlet. You can read all that shit in the thread. Basically, it's a punch move. As you'll kind of see in a little bit of a description here. It is very strong. The only downside to using like the gauntlet weapons is that pretty much you're stationary and it has a small charge time.
I'm about to ask, these punching moves seem more like Dragon Ball Z moves. There's not really a lot of punching involved.
Well, no, I mean, and for the most part it's used to push shit around, like you saw in the last Chapter 2 video. See? Look at that. Great power, and it's just pretty goofy. And I don't know if you noticed, but we finally bought the holy upgrade, man. The Holy Cross. The Jesus Ray is now ours.
You did tell me about this, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, there it is, basically. Its actual use, as you can see, once you activate it, you're stationary. What it does is that it both damages enemies and it blinds them, which will kind of like stun them for a short time. That's its actual use. Oddly enough, I don't know why. It's like playtesting was not a thing. Also, that's the primary use of the gauntlet, by the way, pushing shit around. But the primary use of the Jesus Ray is to break the game, and I've tested it since I started the LP, and needless to say, we're going to break the shit out of the game. We're going to break some bosses. We're going to skip some bosses, skip some fights. It's all at the press of like one button, you know, so you know it's like they just didn't even test it around.
You did tell me about this, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what you mean by breaking the game.
There is, I mean, it's literally game breaking, some of the stuff you can do. Like, we're talking like camera freezes to actual game freezes to boss glitches. Self-completing QTEs, which is its greatest use because fuck QTEs. And yeah. Also, you should note that at the start of the stage, when you first play through, your shadow magic is automatically drained at the level. The reason for this is because you need it to complete a puzzle. You may notice that when you have your shadow magic on, you don't have to charge the gauntlet.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of shadow magic. You know, just the 2 punches drain my meter completely. So you really don't want to do that at all. The bonus is that it's a lot stronger.
Holy shit.
We can punch the statue through doors.
I don't know. That was pretty impressive in a way.
Literally, it's about the most impressive thing we've seen since like Chapter 2. Which is really sad.
We really shouldn't even talk about Chapter 2 anymore. It's just, it was a thing. It was a horrible thing.
Let's put it in the back of our minds and move on while we watch Gabriel Belmont literally punch the shit out of some werewolves.
I do see what you mean by it being very powerful. You're one-shotting these guys.
Yeah, you can one-shot the werewolves. It's just it takes so long to charge up. So if you're getting swamped or anything, if you can like bottleneck the enemies, it's great. And also, I thought I saw one for the life of me roll in here, but I don't know. Maybe he ran off. I don't know. But anyway, moving on. Finally, the opening puzzle of the level is complete after only, what, 5 minutes of bullshit? Cool.
You could have probably jumped that, Gabriel. Come on.
please. Gabriel Belmont jump, it didn't have a glowing edge, dude. No, he couldn't.
Oh, that is a fair point, I guess.
If there's no QTE, then Gabriel Belmont cannot do this. Also, you may notice we've been collecting pieces to our crystal. There's really no need for that in this stage, because that pile we just raided there gives you a complete one anyway. Essentially what I'm trying to say is that the game throws out crystal shards at you like candy now that we're done.
So then you can just spam that super move basically as much as you want.
Pretty much, yeah, and you just... There we go. That's a small example of the Jesus Ray break in execution. What you do, and it's the same for anything you're trying to do, break a boss, break a switch, or whatever. You activate it, and then all you do is, while it's activated, you press the grab button. And
that's it.
Yeah, what it does, the grabbing an item or interacting with the switch or whatever supersedes any attack you're doing, but the shutdown animation of the Jesus Ray supersedes even that. So basically, the game thinks that you grab the item, but the shutdown animation lets you just move on.
That's kind of ridiculous.
It is.
In all honesty.
You can exploit this to no end. There's a lot of like forced fight segments, quote unquote, that aren't really forced anymore. You can skip. You can get bosses stuck in a certain animation, because a lot of bosses, like the Black Knight, will have certain segments. You damage them enough, you have to grab them. You can do it on those too, and in fact you can really wreck some of the bosses doing it that way. Doing it on these guys, any kind of like a soldier or anything like that for like a normal item, all it does is it cancels the animation out and you can't grab them for a while. So there's no real skip there that we're going to see. And there's its actual practicum in use there. Pretty handy, actually.
Yeah, it seems like a good area of effect attack.
It is, and its only weakness, really, I mean, like I say, you can blind massive amounts of enemies. The only problem is that you're stuck facing one position while it's going on. But like I say, if you can bottleneck them, just like with the Dark Gauntlet, it's not bad. And it heals you as well, because it's light magic.
I was going to ask, are there going to be any new enemies in this update?
Aside from the boss, no.
Oh, man.
But there is a new gimmick that you may see going on right now.
I see these green orbs. I don't know what that's about.
Do you remember Chapter 1, Pan's Temple or whatever?
Oh, yeah!
Our little fairy guide? Well, there you go. Now another run-in. They're enchanting the werewolves.
What? How?
Dude, it's Lords of Shadow, okay? I don't know. I don't know, but that's actually our next sub-weapon. The fairy.
Are you serious?
Yes. But we won't be seeing it in this chapter, of course, because it's also in this level, unfortunately, the level gimmick.
Now, hang on a fucking second. Did those fairies just make that werewolf explode?
No, that was a dagger. But if you use light magic when you use the fairies, then in addition to, like, mesmerizing the enemy, the fairy will explode and cause damage. Also, they're very polite creatures. I mean, it just gave me a coffee thermos, so that's cool.
What the hell? What? Why? What's in it?
That is our fairy bottle, man. Think Legend of Zelda, just more convoluted.
That's kind of the thing with Lords of Shadow, isn't it? Convolution. That's all we need.
Pretty much, yes. And, you know, you saw the gimmick there. The door was locked. They basically killed themselves in order to unlock the door. There's another one coming up, and that's pretty much the gimmick of the level. We have to go locate some fairies so we can sacrifice them to the almighty door lock.
I'm actually starting to feel kind of bad for Gabriel at this point. Everything around him dies. Did you just light a bonfire? What is that? Oh, it's a corpse.
It's a corpse. It does look surprisingly like a bonfire, though. Also another demonstration of the weird shit that glitch causes.
I didn't know Gabriel was in game testing.
I was testing it out because, I mean, this is the first actual practice that I've used this for, and I'm trying to figure out what it does and what it doesn't do, and I don't know, man. Later, like I say, later on, I think Chapter 5 is when we're really going to see it in use properly, as far as, like, game-breaking stuff goes.
It's just killing me, because it seems like such an easy thing to catch. Just a little bit of QA.
Well, yeah, and I mean the thing of it is that it's so simple. It had to have not been play tested at all, because to activate the move, you have your light magic on. You do a wide area attack, followed up by a direct attack, and hold the button down. That's it. That activates it. And to execute the glitch, you just have to be in range of something you can grab, and while you're doing the attack or whatever, you press the grab button. That's it. That is literally all you do to completely wreck various parts of the game.
That's amazing.
It's hilarious is what it is.
Oh, hang on. Those are the fairies, right? On the top right?
Yes, we need 3 now that we've encountered the door. The game, actually, for whatever reason, as tutorial heavy as it is, does not tell you what you're supposed to do, unless you go search the door. But basically it's got 3 locks, and we need 3 fairies to kill, to open it. Because Gabriel is a masochist. Sadist.
He just murders everything.
Everything he comes into contact with. If it's not a direct enemy, he kills it, regardless.
It doesn't even have to be an enemy. He kills his mounts, he kills his friends, he kills these random fairies.
Well, and in the most gruesome and just awkward ways.
He's a fucking asshole, Jesus Christ.
You know, you really don't feel sorry for him about, having his wife die and shit. Now, feel worse for his wife than you do Gabriel now.
Well, I'm pretty sure he killed her himself. Somehow. In some horrible fashion.
Now, what on earth would make you think that? Also, it's a warg. I thought about testing the mount thing out, but I'll make a separate video of that, because you can glitch mounts with the Jesus Ray, by the way.
Oh man, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I really didn't feel like adding a rewind effect here for this, because most of those are actually game-breaking. Anyway, yeah, just save some time here. There's another little vine puzzle that we need to complete, and of course, Gabriel Belmont, the only thing we can actually use, you can blind the giant werewolf with a Jesus Ray.
That is really bright. I'm kind of shocked.
It's completely overpowered. You saw how fast that drained him down and brought him into the stunned area. It's a great weapon, and keep in mind that the Lycans, it's not really great against either, and it still does that much to them. Later on, a bunch of the undead enemies, oh yeah, it wrecks them hard.
Now, hang on. You're telling me there's enemies beyond the werewolves and the goblins?
Well, yeah.
Goblins, I forgot their name.
It takes us 5 chapters to get to them, but they're there. That's something that people rag on this game a lot for, and I can kind of understand it. It actually takes you about halfway through the game before you actually get to a castle. And considering this is Castlevania, that's... But, I mean, as far as Castlevania goes, that's a pretty big flaw, man.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, there's been a few Castlevanias where they didn't start at the castle. I mean, Super Castlevania 4 didn't start at the castle. You had to go through quite a few stages to reach it.
Well, yeah, actually, that's a good point. You don't actually reach the castle until you're halfway through, but it still felt castle-ish, Castlevania-ish, if that makes any sense. This one feels more like Van Helsing the game at the start of it, because, I mean, it's a lot of it bears a lot of resemblance to it. In fact, the producer of this game, David Cox, stated that they got a lot of inspiration from the Van Helsing movies, so...
I was going to say, I could tell they had some influence, they were influenced a bit from it.
Yeah, as far as, like, art direction especially, because, I mean, if you look, and later on especially, too, with the vampires, oh yeah, it's plain as day.
What is that puzzle? I've never seen a puzzle like that before.
I was just going to say, we have reached our second puzzle of the level here. There's a hint scroll up here, and this actually involves manipulating our light and shadow magic, but basically what it is that you have to have a certain magic activated to activate certain switches, and you have to do them in the right order. Yada yada this, yada yada that. It's pretty goofy. But before we do that, since this is the first of 3 towers, we can, kidnap a fairy from its home and stash it in our coffee jug.
A connection error has occurred.
Oh, how I wish that were true.
The fairies are messing everything up, dude. Don't do it.
Kidnap a fairy and your internet connection will fail.
You'll never get on top of the Lords of Shadow leaderboards now.
Oh, man. It should be noted, too, by the way, that these fairies that you collect, you can actually use them as your sub-weapon, but if you do, then you have to come all the way back up here and collect them again. So,
why the
don't.
fuck did they do that? They did that after Crystal, too.
Because they want to be dicks, dude. That's why. Also, the hint scroll. Yeah. Blue rune has one neighbor. There's a red rune with one blue rune to its left. Considering there's 3, that's pretty easy to figure out. The problem with these puzzles is that there's some later on that are a lot more complex than this, and if you do the wrong one with the wrong magic, it actually damages you. Quite harshly.
I was about to say, that took off just about half your HP.
Yeah, that's,
That's like La Milana tier nonsense.
And plus we only got 300 EXP for that too, so, man, what a chip. And of course we did all that so we could have access to a grapple point that is extremely confusing considering the camera angles.
What the fuck is happening?
I died at least 3 times my first playthrough on that puzzle just because of the camera switching at the most inopportune times.
That was kind of sickening. Like, I usually don't get sick when playing, or feel sick when I'm playing video games, but that...
Do not play Lords of Shadow if you have motion sickness. And now we're just toting the handle back to these levers here. That's another gimmick you're going to see throughout the game. You'll find switches and whatnot that are missing a lever, and somewhere in the stage, well, there you go. Generally, you have to carry it back, and you'll be bombarded by enemies such as this greater Lycan, which is more or less just a health regeneration enemy now. And it's a pretty shitty gimmick. There you go. I really don't know what else to say, man. It's it's pretty fucking stupid.
I just want one new enemy, man. Just one.
Well, then you turned into the wrong fucking video.
Oh, man.
All Lycans, 24/7. All, what is this? How many stages have we been through now? We had 9, 5, that's what, 14? 16 stages, man. Lycans, Lycans, Lycans. And QTEs, of course.
Why did he groan in pain?
Well, that's it just, I don't know. I'd like to make a QTE joke, but I think we've already done all of those, haven't we?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we have. We're spent on that, man.
There is literally nothing else we can do. Anyway, you open the gate, you can do some Spider-Man shit here, and we can get our second fairy. That's the whole reason behind that.
Do the fairies know what's going to happen?
Somehow I doubt it. I mean, we're basically taking them out of their homes, if you notice. The first 2 at the start of the level, sure, whatever. But these guys, I mean, they're just chilling, watching some fucking Netflix, and in comes Gabriel's dark gauntlet and snatches them up and stuffs them into a coffee mug, man.
They're watching the 24/7 Lycan channel.
I don't know, man. It's... Is there anything to be said? Because, I mean, please, if you could think of something, now is the time.
Dude, I don't know what's going on. Don't expect me to save you in terms of commentary.
It's actually, as far as levels go and everything, and gimmicks and everything, not that bad, considering what we've been through so far. Also, I tried out more Jesus Ray nonsense, and it doesn't seem to work on these too well. Anyway, but I mean, the level itself is short enough. The gimmick isn't that bad. You go to 3 towers, grab 3 fairies. Boom. You got some lever-toting bullshit here, of course, but nothing that's major, right? It's just, I don't know. It looks pretty, again.
God. Already going back to that.
That will be my defense for everything from now on. It looks pretty.
I'm actually kind of shocked they're not using the punching weapon more. Like, you've used it, like, once for one puzzle.
Oh, they do. Believe me, they do. Later on, I'm wanting to say Chapter 7, so we're talking, like, really later on, but, there's Chapter 7, and, like, the penultimate chapter, there's a rather ornate puzzle involving it, too. Basically ground-pounding switches in order, which is oh so fun.
Oh, that sounds like a blast.
Literally it is, because when you complete it, it causes a blast. Ho ho! Lords of Shadow, your wit knows no bounds. Also Life Gem.
Oh, man.
Well, we're about to kidnap our last fairy here, so that's cool. We can finally get on with the game, or the level, I should say.
The fairies have something to do with Pan, don't they?
I think so, yeah, they're like his little critters that hang out with the god of the wilderness, or whatever it is, but, you know, it's okay. We've got Pan's okay. We can kidnap and sacrifice all the fairies we want.
I mean, he doesn't care. He just told Gabriel to kill the Dark Knight just for the hell of it. Just thought it'd be funny.
Yeah, it just popped in just to tell us that, mind you. Also, that one, that upgrade there is kind of a pain, because if you use this grapple point, then you have to go all the way back up to the top of the tower. So, don't miss that upgrade.
I hate those kinds of upgrades in games, to be
Yeah.
honest. If you mess up once, you have to backtrack like a mile in order to try again.
And this game, or I should say this level, is bad about that, because it's a wide area, but you have one single path that you can take to reach all of it, and it's just a pain. Oh, did I mention in any of the videos, here's a bit of trivia for you, that Gabriel's suit, his design, is based off of Simon's from Castlevania 2. That is where they got their major influence for his clothing and whatnot.
I think he told me that off camera, but that is a really interesting decision, because not many people like Castlevania 2.
Well, then how fitting. So there you go, all you goons and goonettes who, you know, are watching this for whatever reason instead of the Mirror of Fate LP going on. There's your bit of trivia.
I haven't looked at that LP yet.
Neither have I. Mirror of Fate, though, I actually like Mirror of Fate. It's not great or anything. Oh, wait.
You're trying to solve a puzzle? I don't think so.
And these guys, you know, it looks like a threat, but we'll just, you know, cheese them. There's a reason I'm using this Dark Crystal, too, instead of just beating them easily with the explosive daggers as well.
What reason is that?
You'll see. Remember how I told you the crystal shards are pretty, they're like candy tossed out to you now? Well, it plays a part.
Okay.
Wait for it, and... Oh, hey, look, he dropped 5. Thanks.
Are you fucking serious?
We now have a full crystal again.
Just imagine if every enemy in Contra 3 dropped a smart bomb.
That would be Lords of Shadow tier. Also, let's grab this little thing in the most objectively wrong way and tug at it.
I'm not even sure what you're pulling.
There was a little glowing board sticking out from here, and then we, like, ripped off the entire wall of the castle somehow.
That seems a bit overkill, but sure.
Well, the werewolves destroyed our little goat switch revolving thing, so we had to do something, and we're very happy about that, by the way. And because we're very happy about that, I had to make a small detour, because, I mean, what is a Lords of Shadow video without some type of close-up? So let's examine Gabriel's top of his head here.
Oh, it's lovely.
Look at those hair physics, man. Wow.
Tomb Raider has nothing on this.
Pantene Pro V, I've got your next model right here. And now it's time to sacrifice some fairies.
Wait, how did they fit in there? That's nonsense.
Physics? I don't know, man. It's Lords of Shadow. And yeah, they exploded themselves onto the lock and bam.
Way to go.
Yeah, level done, by the way. You killed 3 fairies in like a Nazi-type way. Party on.
I didn't find a weapon upgrade.
Oh, don't worry, we'll get that next video. Yeah, that's stage 1 of chapter 3. Next up, we face we finally get to our first real boss, and it's actually a turn for the better. It's pretty fun. The Dark Lord of the Lycans. Are you excited, man?
No.
You should be.
He told me this chapter is going to be better. It's not much better at all.
But it is better.
Well, it's only 2 levels as opposed to 9.
Look, man, okay, if you have 10 cents and I give you a penny, you're not much richer, but you are richer nonetheless. That's the best analogy I could come up with, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, catch y'all next time for a rather fun video for a change, I hope.
Bye.